This is general advice, my opinions, and for entertainment purposes only. CFDs are high risk, past performance isn't reliable. I may be long or short CFDs and stocks mentioned. Content may contain language that offends some viewers. Righto, punters. Next episode of Long or Short, all for you, Matty Bryce. This was a special request. Rox Resources, the old Youanmi gold project. So we'll bloody rip in. Let's have a look-see. Bloody God, gets me every fucking time, that bastard. Righto, the Youanmi. So you see on the map over there, just north of Ramelius's Penny. Just right bloody next to it, effectively. That's where it's situated. They've just put out a DFS. Their 7-year mine life averaging 117,000 ounces. So it's a historically producing mine. There's pits and historic undergrounds, 667,000 ounces at 5.42 from open pit and underground. So that's what we're looking at. She's a restart jobby. Here's the chart. So this is the last year. She's had a pretty good run. She's come up, pulled back a bit. They've done the capital raise in November and at, I think it was 35 cents. And she started bloody ripping back up to 50. Very bloody, I don't know if you noticed, but we're in a fucking very favourable gold mining environment at the moment. So they've got the bloody tailwinds. So the biggest historical overhang for Rox has always been the ore body is refractory. So for the mining, non-technical people that might be listening, refractory means you can't process it via conventional cyanide leaching. You need ultra-fine grinding or pressure oxidation or a roaster or something like that to expose the gold so you can leach it into the cyanide, into solution. Get the cyanide to leach it into solution. So you can have not refractory at all, you can have semi-refractory, which is like your KCGM, Kalgoorlie, Northern Star. They just grind the living piss out of it and they can get 78, 80% recovery. Or there's fully refractory where you got to roast the living fuck out of it, like Walloona, how they needed the bugs back in the day. I think that's what Rox used, not Rox, I think it was Gladiator. I forget the name. The previously operated Youanmi, I think they put in like one of those bacterial bloody plants that just eats the shit off the edge to expose the gold. So that's been the biggest thing, but they've got the flow sheet to combat it, and it's via the Albion process. So to my knowledge, the Albion process has not been used in Australia yet. So what they do is they crush and grind it to 75 micron. They then float the sulfides, which is the sulfides that contain the gold inside it. They then ultrafine grind that using an isomill into a concentrate down to 12 micron. They then put it in this neutral Albion leach, and that is like it's like an oxidation process. Like, I'm not too bloody up on it, but that's what exposes the gold to then be leached out. And then it's CIL processing of that Albion leach and the flotation tail stream. So that will give, they're aiming for an overall gold recovery of 90.8%. And to build this mill, I think there is an existing mill there, but they're, effectively having to build another one. Pre-production capital for the mill underground is 383 million buckaroos. Just a casual 383 million. This guy, he's the secret weapon. That is the bloody metallurgical expert of Australia, Mr. Nathan Stoitis, who sits on the board. Rox is very dependent on metallurgical success because it's a refractory ore body. So the fact that this fella is sitting on the board gives a lot of bloody confidence. This is Phil's first gig as an MD, and he's like a bloody dog with two dicks attacking this, and you'll see what is happening on the Rox bloody, current activities and what's coming up, they are going full knacker at getting shit done. So he's friggin' loving it by the looks. So here's the mine layout. So you got a lot of old pits here. You got the big Youanmi main. And you got the historical underground. Decline goes down to about 600 metres. Yeah, you've got hill end. You can see an old decline down there. They've just started cutting the portal for United North to come start attacking this. So, and they've got to pump all this shit out, pump the underground. They'd have to rehab it and work their way down. And all this shit down here, the high grade stuff, that is at the back end of the mine life that they've got studied. So we'll go through that. And you can see here by FY33, the spike in ounces, the lowering in costs. So it's unfortunately, all the good shit comes at the end, but that's, I guess, what's to look forward to in the company. So that's where you're really getting into the honeypot down the bottom. That's the mining profile. Scheduled to start bloody making gold in FY27. And you can see these orange dots, they're the grade. So it starts at sort of 3.5 grams, and you see it sort of works its way up, the grade and obviously the ounces. Looking by FY29 to be about, 900,000 tonne at four and a bit grams. And then by FY33, they get your grades up at sort of 6.5 grams. So that's like, it's obviously grade improves with depth when they get in, but there's obviously a big job to fucking pump it all out, rehab it, and re-establish that underground mine. So the Canaccord put out a note yesterday. They were like the lead on the raise for them. So pretty bullish, I'd say, looking at the comments. Look at the size of the company at the moment. So the market cap's 690 million, but EV of 460 because they've just they got 250 mil cash sitting in the bank. Still waiting on the debt piece, so that will flick the EV around when they start drawing that debt. But that's where the company's sitting at the moment. So for anyone that doesn't know, EV is the market cap minus the cash plus the debt. So if you're 690 mil, they got 250 mil cash. You can see you take that 230, take that 230 off, and you get an enterprise value of 460. They're just saying it's effectively what the business is valued at if you take away the money they've got and the money they owe, effectively. So probably a chart that sort of sums it up a bit where Rox is sitting at the moment, which was in the Canaccord note. So it's a EV to production comparison. So you look at the EV of Mika, Pantoro, Orabanda, pretty similar companies to Rox in terms of they've got a single asset. They're producing about, Mika's not yet, but bloody Pantoro and Orabanda producing, over 100,000 ounces. That's the EV to production. So, and you see where Rox is sitting at, because they've obviously still got to deploy all the capital. They've got to build the mine. They've got to de-risk it. They've got to get it permitted. They're very early in that journey. But you see, if they can get all that done, that's what we call a bloody re-rate, because the market cap would significantly increase per production ounce, and you'll be sort of sitting at around what these active producers are. So that's the potential, I guess. So they're half funded, you'd say. So end of this year, they completed a bloody 2-tranche placement, and which raised a total of 200 million. So that's hence why they got 230 in the bank. So at 35 cents a share, and the debt is incoming, you say. So they obviously need debt to fund the rest of the capex. So the capex is 383 million. They've got 230 mil in the bank already. Canaccord are modelling them to get, 254 in the bank. Canaccord are modelling them to get 230 mil of debt, bank debt. They've had people on site banks on site and to assess it. So it looks like that's going to be solved soon. So you'll have 230 plus 254, 484 million. CapEx required 383 mil. So there's a 100 mil buffer, but I'll go through later. This is the early stage. It's all predictions. I'll use a comparison of a previous recent gold restart, their debts, etc., and the journey they went on after that, which just shows the negative side. There's a positive side if it works, but there is a negative side if they get under financial pressure and the banks have got bloody covenants giving them security to the assets, and they can just pretty much force you to pay debt or fucking whatever whenever they want. So this is what they're getting done at the moment. This is from the Rox announcement. So dewatering is ongoing. They got bloody in the main pit. So you got United North complete, and that's where the decline's getting pushed from. MRE's been released. Works for major DFS work streams completed. Early work streams underway, so they've got the development going. They're getting management in place. They're doing the camp expansion. Preferred owners team appointed. Oh, I wonder who they are. I don't even know what that bloody means. But the next steps, this is what they got coming up. So they've got the updated reserves. They're going to be drilling. So you saw those near mine targets and regional targets that like potentially could add fucking early additional bloody ounces to the mine plan. So they've obviously got a lot to look at. So it's probably not a foregone conclusion yet. Oh God, I lost me bloody page. So the decline's going down, so I assume they'll start bloody drilling from down there to test the near mine stuff if there's any easier stuff they can get early on. Process plants, bloody long lead items have been ordered. The permitting's the big one. So they've still got like the mining development and closure proposal and works approvals for the processing plant, that's TSF, and all the infrastructure. So that's a big thing that, you know, that they're going to be waiting on to get this shit happening. But it looks like they're doing everything at the moment to get that done ASAP. And then the fact that they've started developing means they're fucking getting into it. You like seeing a jumbo working at a mine, because that's the pressure on. If they're fucking spending money on bloody development and still waiting on permitting and approvals, like they've fucking got to make it happen. So that's usually a fucking good thing. And still waiting on the debt. So there's fucking plenty happening. They're pretty fucking active by the looks. Now, I actually had a chat with an old school miner that worked at Youanmi back in the day. And I said, just tell us a couple of things about it. And he reckons Hill End, so that's where the United North's coming in. I think that's United North there. That's the Hill End ore body. He reckons there was a stope in the Hill End that was called the Gold Room. Fucking gold everywhere, apparently. So that was what it was called. So it sounds like, and then he said there was an air leg miner down in the main working on a heap of dirt with lots of bloody shitload of visible gold and something. I don't know if something happened with the flooding or something, but the dirt's still there. Because he said at one stage they hit an aquifer in a development phase, and it literally flooded the mine with a day. It was like this big fucking hole, and the water was just fucking pouring out, and they had to evacuate and flooded the whole joint quickly. So it sounds like there's they've had water issues previously, but very high grades at the bottom of the mine, so which is fucking ages away, unfortunately. I'm sure they'd love to get there straight away. So in terms of the mining notes, from the underground mining perspective, looks like, so it's long hole open stoping using pillars. So that's for the top 600 metres. And then when they get down to the bottom 600, so that's effectively where that decline ends. This whole bottom here, that's going to be the bottom 600 metres. They're going to be using the modified evoker method. So that's where they pretty much blast a ring or two and then bloody chuck CRF in, fucking cemented rock fill, and then sort of fire against it. So progressively backfill the stopes as they retreat, so to try and fucking keep the hanging wall together and not expose it. So that United North area, so the Pollard and Main, that's sort of, so your Pollard and Main is here. That's Pollard, that's Main. They're sort of sitting at 75-degree dip, so closer to vertical, but the United North area, now I assume the United North is the earlier mining area. So that's pretty flat. That's sitting at 55-degree stope depth. So that obviously introduces a bit of risk with control and dilution and bloody stope dirt recovery. So 55's not the worst. Like I think Ulysses and Gwalia are like 35 to 45. I think Ulysses is pretty flat, 30 to 35. So 55's not too bad, hence why they reduced the level space and so the fucking hole length isn't too long. So, and you can see they do, looks like there's a bit of water. It's not fucking shitloads, I don't think, but you see the underground inflows 56 to 60 litres a second by the time they get down to the bottom that they're predicting, 63 to 70 by FY34, so that's fucking ages away. But and I did mention the historical intersections of aquifers and stuff, so there may be water, but this is all, and I'll get into fucking, what I'm looking at the moment is the share price going up or down? This is all long dated stuff that's not going to affect anything for fucking ages. And I'll show you bloody why. Because we'll look at a comparison, Bellevue Gold, when they went through their DFS, securing the debt, the capital raise, from fully funded to getting the first gold, and sort of the journey they went on from there, from a share price perspective. So, end of timing. So, September 21, so the red line's the share price of Bellevue. So, that was sitting at bloody fucking 85 cents or something. Second DFS was released. They were fully funded. They secured it. They had a capital raise, secured the 200 mil of bank debt. Then by 2024, that's when they poured their first gold. So, October 23, first gold. And then you look at the share price from there, because they're in ramp-up execution mode and they're sort of priced in to execute, and like the market got behind it, and you see fucking smashed it up to bloody $1.75. Then even after the first gold, went up to near $2. So essentially share price friggin' doubled. But you look at that in relation to the gold price. That's how gold tracked during that period. So when it was going up, that's when sort of gold started taking off. So that was a bit of a tailwind for Bellevue, just as a gold stock alone. You did have the gold price starting to go. It's obviously fucking, look at what gold's done now. And Bellevue's only just started recovering to where it is now. Now, this is what happened with the funding. So September 21, as I said, the second DFS, they were fully funded. They did do a $60 million share purchase plan in January 23. That's where they poured the first gold. But then started this. Then they got to the stage where they did 150 mil capital raise, and that was to accelerate development and get things humming, apparently. So they had to do 150 mil capital raise. So you see the share prices dropped there. Then it got under further pressure because they had issues during ramp up and cash got skinny. And then April last year, so about 9 months ago, they had to do another 165 mil capital raise. And from that, they've still got, which won't apply to Rox, but they've still got 100 mil of debt. And they've still got the hedge book in place that was the mandatory requirement for the bank debt that they got issued all the way back here. So, but Rox have put in put options just recently. So I think it's 40,000 ounces underpinned at $5,700 an ounce. I think it cost them $9 million. So that means that like that first 40,000 ounces, even if the gold price absolutely dies, they will still be able to sell the gold for 5,700 Aussie. So it's sitting at about 6,600 at the moment, but it's that downside protection. And the bank debt, because I think it's changed a bit these days. So I think with those put options in place that they've already bought, that may satisfy the customary requirements for the bank so they don't have to put a hedge book in place, because I would not imagine they will want a hedge book in place. I think there's been comments that it won't require any mandatory hedging. The hedging sort of landscape has changed to what it was previously. So that we'll see what happens when the actual deck gets released. So long or short, there's the couple of fucking reasons why both I'm looking at. As I said, they're in that period where a re-rate towards being a fully valued producer can occur, and the bit I'm talking about there is fucking in between there. In between being funded, having your DFS, everything looking good, it's just time of first gold. Everyone knows you're not making money yet, but if you got the tailwinds of the market, that's where the share price increase fucking happens. So that's what happened with Bellevue. So that's sort of the situation that Rox are in at the moment. The management team, they're active, they're getting shit done. The fact that they got the jumbo, they're fucking developing, cutting portals. That's what I like that. If the Albion process works, it's relatively high-grade feed compared to peers, though in the later years. Even early on, if they're ripping out 4 grams, that's 4 grams pretty good. I know they've got to probably start trucking it a bit further from underground, but, 4-gram dirt in this environment isn't too bloody bad. And they've got the gold puts and the high gold price. That's going to lower... at this gold price, you would hope that lowers ramp-up risk. Compared to most. The challenge with that is going to be the mining cost, because when they're going to be mining, there's going to be mining going on everywhere. And as I've said about the people, the things what happens when you can't get people, you fucking right into the wages that you pay everyone to get people, and it just increases the costs of mining. So there's 2 edges of the sword of a high gold price and mines happening everywhere. Could be increase in wages and costs as well, which is fucking likely already happening. On the other side, obviously still awaiting final permits. That's going to be a big catalyst. Still awaiting the final debt, looking likely. But in worst case scenario, but it's looking, all their commentary doesn't indicate they're going to have issues. They'd have to do a cap raise if it bloody didn't come through, which means the bloody share price would go down due to the dilution. But I'd put that as an unlikely scenario. They're requiring 230 mil of debt. So remember, Bellevue had a 200 mil facility. They raised, if you include the share purchase plan, they effectively raised 3 times post the DFS in a rising gold price environment. So that just highlights the challenges related to building a mine and ramping up a mine and executing a mine. So if you do a like for like, the hardest thing for Bellevue is the hard ground, and it appears possibly ore body variability as well. Hardest thing for Rox, just at first glance, will be nailing the recovery on the Albion process. And I think the Canaccord note said they're giving them 12 months to really ramp that up and get that tuned in. But getting that recovery and the Albion process working for the refractory gold is fucking key for them. So that's obviously a big one. Always going to have teething issues. Fucking everything has teething issues, just like fucking building a lithium plant. But you never know, with Nathan Stoitis there, he just might make it work on the first day. If anyone can fucking do it, he will. Low grade at the start. So unfortunately, all the high grade comes at the end. The low grade's at the start. It's at a higher cost to mine in the early years, but there is... Who knows by FY27, once they get declines in and regional exploration, like if there's any earlier dirt that they could bring in that currently isn't in the mine plan to de-risk that startup. So that's where it is sitting at the moment. I don't have a bloody position, but I've got my eye on it now. And Matty Bryce, thank you very much for nudging me in the direction of doing the work, because every time I do the work, I learn shitloads. So thank you very much, punters. Another long or short done. What are some administrative messages? Oh, fuck, I'm getting hate on Twitter now. I fucking love it. Love it. People reckon I've changed and fucking whinging like little fucking bitches. I love it. More hate, the better. I can't wait. Oh, and then I'll start stirring them up. They're calling me model photos on the thumbnails. Can't help, I got extremely good looking recently. Unbelievable. So get on the community. The community's starting to fire up a bit. It's in the app. We can talk shit together, post questions. I'm looking at it every day. Get on the community. Use your referral link that's in the emails. If you don't mind, I'd really appreciate it if you just chucked it on socials, say fucking sign up here, help a bloody Aussie battler out named Maddie, and you get a free month if someone uses that referral link to sign up. You've all got a unique referral code, so bloody chuck that bastard in. Right, take it easy. Long live Matty Bryce. Love you, cobber.